What's up everyone and welcome to another Let's Max Warframe. Since Melee 3.0 people have been asking about new Zors quite a bit, and I thought I would show off one people have been inquiring about since I teased it in that meta builds video, and that's the weapon that knocks the Orthos Prime off the top spot for strongest polearm, and that's the Plague Kripath. Built using the Vargeet Chai 2, Seekala and Plague Kripath, the Link is basically the best compromise we could get between status and crit without losing out in other areas. Thankfully, it's not that expensive to build, especially if you're still working on rebuilding all your Zors after Melee 3.0 changed how good they were. The weapon itself has got fantastic base damage. It's split into 4 parts. You have the normal impact punch or slash that you get on most weapons, but also you get a nice dash of viral thrown in there as well, which is going to work really nicely, especially when you start playing around with condition overload. High crit is going to give you a really nice buff when it comes to Blood Rush, and then the status chance, which won't give you 100% status, still around the 70% mark, which is high enough to strip armor effectively when you combine it with its fantastic attack speed and range if you mod it to take advantage of it. Talking of mods, it's pretty much a standard light attack build here, nothing particularly crazy whatsoever. Shimmering Blight is by far the best stance. Corrosive, Weeping Wounds, crit, condition overload, absolutely standard. The only thing that's not standard is the Exodia Arcane, which is specific to the Zor series of weapons. Choice of 2 here. In the meta builds video you saw me messing around with Exodia Contagion, which is where you double jump or bullet jump and then you're able to attack while aim gliding, and that throws out a projectile that does a ton of damage in an AoE. And that is affected by status chance, crits, elemental damage. The way it used to be was that you needed a specific contagion thrower, because we used to run dual stats for status and not the 90% elementals, which took away a ton of damage from your contagion. Now though, because of the way mods have changed, we don't need to compromise anymore, and contagion slots right in. One thing to note about contagion though, the damage is pretty strong, but it has self-damage, so either you need to get good with it and learn the ranges, something which personally I'm very bad at, or use a frame where you don't kill yourself with it, like Revenant or Hildren, and only use it with those. Even an Aros will not stand up to this. Just a bit of a word of warning, I've killed myself on an Aros with it more times than I can actually count. The arcane I will recommend though is Exodia Triumph, which gives you a 50% chance for an additional combo counter. So what that means is you hit an enemy, normally that would only count as 1. However, with Triumph you have a 50% chance for that single hit to count as 2 for the combo counter. This allows you to build your combo way faster than a weapon without it, and without sacrificing a mod slot for it. This is definitely the arcane I would go for general play. So with that out the way, what are my thoughts on this Kripath polearm? Well, it is stronger than the Orthos, however, realistically, you might not even notice. You know me, always trying to push the boundaries of weapons and seeing what comes out strongest, and the Kripath for what I do does actually come out ahead. That small chance for a viral proc, due to the way proc weighting works, only really matters when you start going against the Grineer in the Veil, where they have a ridiculous amount of effective hit points, or against enemies above the effective hit points of a 170 Corrupt Gunner, which means that realistically, if you're not going against like super high level enemies like I do, you're not going to feel a difference in the time to kill between this and the Orthos Prime, for example. Where you are going to notice a difference is the speed, which is slightly higher than the Orthos, which that, when combined with the Exodia, is going to stack to max Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds significantly faster. So while you might not notice an increase in the damage once you are stacked, since, let's be honest, there isn't any content where the extra damage that it does over the Orthos is really noticeable. However, as a quality of life thing to help build your combo quicker, it feels so much nicer to use. Now I had to say all this purely because I can already see people in the comments saying it doesn't feel any different to the Orthos, and that's because in reality, you're kinda right. However, options are a good thing. Having multiple weapons that do the job well is fantastic, and if you want a polearm to push into higher levels, like an hour or more into arbitrations, the Kripath polearm is going to be fantastic for you, and it is going to be noticeably better than the Orthos, so it does have its niche. One thing I've been bad about in previous videos but want to start trying to do again is make sure I include talking about ribbons. While none of my footage is with a ribbon, I want to try and come up with some suggestions as to what I would look for in a ribbon for the weapon. For this weapon, there's a few things I would try and target. Damage, crit damage, attack speed, and range. These are the ones I would say are pretty much the must-haves. As for negatives, minus damage to infested, minus impact, minus puncture. These work really nicely. The infested die really quickly, and minus impact and minus puncture can focus procs more into slash, which is a nice extra bit of damage with the bleed on top. It's entirely possible though that this is one of the weapons that will get a disposition adjustment when their melee ribbon balancing comes around, so just be careful of that one if you're looking to buy one. But that's the Critpath Polearm for you. It's a great weapon, fast, hard hitting, and feels a lot nicer to use and build up than the Orthos, like build up to max stacks. I hope you enjoyed the weapon as much as I do. Honestly, it's become my go-to and has actually replaced my Orthos for general play. The quality of life upgrade with the quicker stacking was the deal breaker for me, and I've just not gone back to the Orthos since. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have as much fun with this polearm as I have. Many thanks for watching, and I shall catch you in the next one.